What do the discourse conventions teach you about the type of evidence your field values? Bayer and Cordingley's constant use of secondary evidence shows that the field of history heavily values it. History is a very interdisciplinary field, you could say, with historians often drawing their information from people outside of the field to get different perspectives of an event. Once they have all of these perspectives, they're able to put them together and paint a full picture. For example, a historian wanting to write about the history of tattoos might gather information from the field of art to talk about the designs that were done or how the tools used in the actual tattooing. Another field a historian could look at would be the various fields of religion to talk about what tattoos mean to each religion and when they were used during rituals. And then you can also take sources from the field of sociology to describe the trends in tattoos and the responses to them. My group's topic is HIV in young adults, and Bayer's article offers great insight on the different methods we have to prevent HIV. And these all methods have worked in various ways, with some working more than others. This being said, Bayer still explains that there's a stigma surrounding HIV, with people refusing to acknowledge it in some countries or people not paying attention to it because they don't think they will get it. And then you have a lack of resources like educational programs and just money in general. And all of this pushes back our progress, which isn't good because we have what we need to slow down, I guess, HIV infection, but it's still at the same rate even though we have all of the resources we could use. Cordingley's article is just very helpful in understanding HIV. He delves into pretty much every aspect of HIV, allowing you to get a great understanding of it, which proved to be helpful because it taught me things I didn't know about HIV. And if I didn't know some things about HIV, how could I stand up here and tell you guys about HIV? I think I skipped one. Okay. What do your sources reveal about your discipline's approach with respect to the topic? Sort of like I said earlier, the field of history values every field's perspective on an event. This allows historians to relate information to others without leaving anything out. In this way, history could be described as an interdisciplinary and adaptive field. Our topic is HIV, and both of my sources adapt accordingly to it by citing medical professionals and even adopting some of the specialized language the medical field uses. For example, Cordingley uses medical phrases such as viral envelope glycoprotein, toradol nucleocapsid, and CD4 antigen positive T cells.
Hello everyone, my name is Gregory Wheeler. I'm a nursing major / health science major. So our thing was still HIV in young adults and adults. So the title of my two articles are: one, the prevalence of human immunodeficiency virus testing and associated risk factors in college students. It's an article by Olivia Dennison, Kishan Wu, and Melinda Eakes. In this research paper, the authors are studying the prevalence of HIV testing in a sample of college students and how behavioral characteristics influence this, as well as considering their demographics such as age, race, gender, religion, and information, just, for statistics for the entire region. The second article, Antibody Persistence and T-Cell Balance, Two Key Factors Confronting HIV Vaccine Development, was created by George K. Lewis, Anthony L. DeVico, and Robert C. Gallo. In this paper, the authors try to figure out the best way to brainstorm development of a full vaccine/cure for HIV based off the struggles and the failures of the last vaccines that have failed in the past. How is each source arranged and organized? First one, in prevalence of human immunodeficiency in college students, uses a more widely used scientific method version of presenting information, with the main claim laid out, then striking into the method, measures, and analysis, as well as the graphs used to contain the gathered information for each part of the scientific method. The second article, Antibody Persistence and T-Cell Balance, the information is put together by labeling the parts of the HIV virus that make it different than a normal viral infection, and how these separate parts must be dealt with in a unique way compared to a normal virus. In these separate subgroups of different characteristics of HIV, they talk about why that certain vaccine did not work, or the reason for why it didn't work, and how new ideas can form based off the failing of these past vaccines. How is the information presented? The information is presented for the college student one by a scientific method-based format with an experiment based off a survey, analysis of statistics and graphs and tables, and many primary resources, seeing as it was its own experiment. The second one, vaccine development, the entire paper is mainly a secondary resource as it interprets past research to increase the effectiveness of the future research. Graphs and tables are used as well to show the data. What are the discourse conventions and how do they teach the reader about the values of the field? The discourse conventions are the statistical information used in the experiment format and shows how the health science, or nursing field, values safe, effective treatment. This is shown in antibody persistence and T-cell balance, two key factors confronting HIV vaccine development. They value efficiency in testing for the obvious reason of working with patients, real human beings. And no one wants to remain sick or with health problems for too long. They want everything cured, which makes sense. More conventions are also graphing and charts through experiments because it is still a scientific field, in which the scientific method is used, as in the second article, the college student article. And the discovery and sharing of this knowledge is important, so more health professionals can spread this effective way to chart and treat and graph the patients. Also, trends are important so that teaching can go on so more people are aware, and so we don't have to treat it again in the first place, so we can prevent it. How does each source offer insight to the group presentation? The source, antibody persistence and T-cell balance, two key factors confronting HIV vaccine development, offers group insight through giving students as well as normal people knowledge to help prevent HIV for themselves and therefore others, thereby reducing the infection itself. Education through assemblies talking about the warning signs are useful to students of all ages, middle school, high school, and college level. Because from this article, I discovered myself that almost 40 to 50% of new HIV people who receive the virus are actually college students. I didn't know that, but I do now. The second one, prevalence of human immunodeficiency virus testing and associated risk factors in college students, assists in providing demographics in schools to show that this is an issue in college and what areas it is prevalent to watch out for. Comparing and contrasting the fields.
So we didn't do a Venn diagram, but we did something similar. So my field is business, and Chris's field is education. And so my field of study relates to the education field because we are teaching the young adults on how to be safe and prevent them from getting any source of HIV. And my article also relates to the education field because we can hang posters around the schools so that everyone is very familiar with how serious HIV is. My field compares to the nursing field because my field relates to the nursing field because we sell the products to the hospitals that can help treat patients who already have HIV. And we also show and teach the doctors about the product so that they will be knowledgeable on the product they are providing to their patients.
Within my field, the nursing field, the study of nursing can cross into the educational field by how information is spread to others, and how this teaching of students is, you can kind of relate it to the teaching of patients, since you have to teach both of them. So in a way, you have to be good at explaining these heavy topics and put it in an easier to swallow format. As well as how many nurses and doctors help the education field with assemblies and information and giving of preventative measures to schools, as well as teaching them these things, the best ways to stop it. The business field is connected to the nursing field to the fact that many things are bought and sold to each other to give to the general public, or to receive goods that help with the treatment of HIV, as well as giving information to the business field that they can use to market it.
So this is kind of repetitive, but my major is education and it relates to business. My major relates to the business because of the marketing posters of HIV prevention in high schools, and my major relates to nursing because both fields are aim to inform young adults and adults about HIV prevention. And
These are our sources, and if you click again, there's more sources.
oh, there's more.
Oh,
And then if we want to open up some like questions.
Yeah.
one second, sorry. As well as we didn't do the final come together point, the one point in the middle of the Venn diagram, the imaginary Venn diagram. But the middle point there is these school assemblies, they're the convergence point of all our fields. One, because there has to be the information from the health science field to relate in the assembly. It has to be marketed well to explain to the students. There has to be students there so new young people can get this information and therefore learn by it, therefore reducing the HIV pandemic.
Now, if
Alrighty.
you want to like open up to like
Questions?
or anything.
I have a question.
Yes.
You said HIV is as prevalent as it was in 1981 to now, with still how much technology we have?
Yeah, the rates haven't gone down in like a long time.
There probably is a reason for this. I don't want to say something that still might be proven false, but a reason for this is it's really hard to treat it per se, and lots of people are unknown carriers of it.
Right.
Because so little people test for it, even though it's this prevalent. Like in that article I was talking about with college students, for college males and females, the females had like a 40% rate of testing, the males had a 10% rate of testing. So lots of people have it, and they just don't know, and they go symptomless until full AIDS develops.
Right, and doesn't it take like 6 months or something for it to even show up on tests? You can't just contract HIV and then the next day go get tested and it'll show up.
No, it doesn't work like that.
Right.
And is this a national or an international study in terms of the incidence of HIV?
It was more of a national study.
So in the United States?
Yes.
And so there has been no change to the incidence of HIV from when the article began testing in 1991, you said?
Yeah.
Oh, 1980s to
Yeah.
20.
I think there has been like a change, like they obviously the rates have gone a little lower with like introduction of medication, but since the medication was introduced like in the late 90s, early 2000s, HIV rates have like annually, like the people who get infected has like stayed around the same number.
Okay, so it seems
So
like there's a distinction between people living with HIV almost as a condition versus HIV developing into AIDS, and AIDS obviously being a life-ending disease, right? So is that the distinction that the
It's like the medication is like is helping people like live, like that's
Yeah.
what you said, instead of just like
Yeah, it's not like it goes away.
before it develops into AIDS, which would be a life-ending.
That's the reason.
and so many people carry it like unknownly, like that's why like the rates are still like the same, is because people are not getting tested, like you have it, don't even know that they have it.
Huh. That makes sense.
Yeah, the reason is that, oh, sorry.
You go ahead.
Go for it.
It's your presentation.
No, go for it.
Okay, did anyone's articles find that certain areas have higher population of HIV?
I personally, whenever I was looking through articles, we focused on this area, but like I read through other articles and I did find like I think it was like Europe and like Africa, like places like that have like higher than we do here,
Because we have better treatment here.
and
than other
better
places.
technology and stuff like that.
Yes?
If y'all were to expand upon the research y'all did, how would y'all try to solve the problem of HIV more than so trying to lower the rates?
What do you mean? Sorry, like how so?
I'm saying like based on the research y'all did research on like how to prevent the waste spring now. How would y'all improve on that based on your research?
Yeah.
I feel like our research basically like I think people like want like HIV to go away and like go down, but like it can't go away unless people are getting like tested.
So testing would be your solution.
So maybe mandatory testing in high school and mandatory testing in college would help make it lower, but then there's still so many people that don't go to college, so it would just kind of like still be the
Also,
same.
just like a lot of high schools don't have like HIV prevention education. Like in my high school, I didn't. So like reading about this was the first time I've heard about it. Well, not heard about it, but learning about it. So like just having every high school have a mandatory program for like health education